let's while I pull up these tunes, let's talk a little bit about the bike and mirror. Let's talk about Denim and Senior Children. Aaron, I know you go like way back with Senior Children, right? Like y'all tight like that?
Yeah, I'm pretty cool with Jeremy. Known him for a couple of years now. He's very good at making people mad about playing him in fighting games because he knows like he's really good at finding the cheap stuff and abusing the hell out of it. I've said this multiple times, and I appreciate that whenever I play people because how else am I going to learn the matchup?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you didn't know that, well, you don't want to get caught, in that situation in a major. You're like, oh, I know how to fight this character, and then something completely crazy happens. And you're like, what the fuck is that? Then you gotta be like, yo, my boy, like you were supposed to prepare me for that.
Yeah, you need those training partners that know how to go to the well of cheap shit over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And he's definitely the kind of person who's not going to stop until you force him to stop. And even then, he's like, nah, maybe not. Maybe this time I go for it and you weren't ready because you're like, I thought I conditioned this man.
And he does this in like all games, right? Like it's not just a Biken or a Guilty Gear thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, people definitely hated fighting him in Under Night before this.
Wait, who does he
I
play,
remember
Mini?
he plays Wagner.
Oh, fuck this guy.
He played some Dragon Ball 2. I remember it was funny because we both played Android 21, and my homie Juice was like, he was like, dude, I played this crazy Android 21, man. And I was like, was it Jeremy? He's like, who's Jeremy? And I'm like, Senior Children. He's like, yeah, how'd you know? I'm like, yeah, he's crazy.
Well, that's fucking awesome. So in addition to refining the Senior Children's bike, and actually, I have to ask a question. Was he actually doing push-ups when he dropped dust loops?
Yeah, we would joke about that. I mean, I hope he did because we play casuals like, bro, Jeremy, that's 10 push-ups, man. Like you gotta do the push-ups. So lately, I haven't seen him drop dust loops. So
Okay, but Senior Children, you're out there in chat. Have you actually done push-ups for dropping dust loops? I'd be way more jacked. Yeah, so that's what I figured. I knew your ass wasn't doing it.
he's a liar.
He did those push-ups once.
10 push-ups, no more drops. I'm gonna blame it on the lag the next time I have to do 10 push-ups.
Yep. But like real talk, I always love watching Senior Children play his Biken, or I love playing against him, to be honest, because there beyond the layer of just of making sure that you know how to deal with the cheap shit by using it over and over and over. Like he plays like aggressively, but not one note. Right. And he uses Zami, but he uses the entire range of Biken's tools, which is really cool to see, because I know a lot of Biken players are gonna zoom in on like a couple buttons to Tommy Matt and Azami, but like Senior Children uses the gamut of tools.
Yeah, definitely on defense, he can definitely make you sweat a little bit. There's some where you kind of get a good idea because it's a Biken specific thing, but then there's other situations where like, oh crap, like my health bar just evaporated right there.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's really good too because like he's good at establishing that layer one, and then where you're like, okay, now I'm ready for layer one, and it's like, okay, Tico goes on to layer 3 times. Like, you weren't watching my meter. Like, I'm gonna RC that and get a combo now. And I think the other thing is just like he's really pretty good about remembering certain habits and then like adjusting himself to it. So like if you throw as a zombie a lot, he won't a zombie as much. Or if you like be patient for it, he'll start pressing because he's expecting you to expect something. So I think that's one thing that plays in his favor. And kind of on the other side for Denim, I think Denim's really patient. So it feels like Denim does a lot of trying to figure out the other person kind of in real time, whereas like I think Jeremy's really good at like establishing the pace sometimes. So it's going to be a really curious thing for this.
So one of the reasons why I was especially interested in this match is because Biken mirrors are like weird as hell, right? Like
absolutely.
if we were if this were not a Biken mirror, like if we were looking at Senior Children, we were looking at Denim, and we were trying to decide who to pair them up against, right? Like who's a good match, who do we think is going to lead to something that's fun to watch and like it's good for the players. There could be all kinds of different players across like all kinds of different matchups that we could make, and would find something cool, right? But some of it would depend on like character knowledge. And the thing is that in a Biken mirror, it's not a character knowledge thing. Like for the most part, these two are going to be testing the limits of their ability to play Biken into Biken. And here's the thing: no one likes playing against Biken. Right. No. Maybe you like that you can like if you have some good throw stuff that you can blow her up if she goes for Azami too much, and she can't really take that much damage. So like, you know, you hit that once or twice, you're probably good. But no one likes playing Biken or playing against Biken because there's just extra shit you have to deal with. Right.
Yeah.
You have to second guess yourself constantly. Like a lot of Guilty Gear is learning how to rotate options, and with Biken, Azami gives her an extra thing that you need to worry about rotating away from, whenever you're close to her, basically.
I've heard people say Biken is the only character that makes you play RPS on her defense, as opposed to like when in Gear when you get knocked down, you're kind of playing rock paper scissors, right? Biken does the exact opposite, where it's like when she's knocked down, you're like, okay, maybe I need to throw out rock this time, and then you just wake up Azami, like low Azami especially, and you're just like, I hate this stupid character.
Yep. And so like if normally if I were to look at this match, it'd be like, okay, well, Senior Children has more show match experience, right? Because he's played against he's played against One Bin and Mapachito so far.
Yep.
But
get up here to get that revenge for Mamachito.
Yeah.
That extra layer.
That's right. It's a fellow what were they? The last kids picked for kickball?
Last kids from kickball, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not only does Denim have the grudge match avenging the homie angle on top of this, but like Denim has been grinding in tournaments, right? He's been really consistent. I think up until the last month or so, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Senior Children's kind of been off and on, right? So while Senior Children, I would expect to have more experience playing first to threes and playing on stream in front of an audience, right? I think Denim probably has more experience just like looking for raw downloads. And so I'm gonna be super interested to see how this match plays out. And also, I personally just want to subject Biken players to the hell that they usually don't have to run into, which is playing against Biken.
Yeah. Like, a mirror match is degenerate and a character is degenerate when that character has no answers for their own bull crap, and that's why you want to watch them fight each other.
And Denim out here in chat with the early downplay. I'm a serial choker, but let's go. See, you can't trust a Biken player. They're always going to be seeding those OSs, right? But seriously, like we've been talking a lot about Senior Children's the work that he's been doing over the last year, and he's been doing a lot. But Denim is straight up one of the most consistent players to ever come through for Wednesday night fights. Right. Like he was coming when we were running them in person, and he was coming like almost every week. He was rolling up with Mapachito. The two would enter all the time. Like he'd be grinding casuals afterwards. The dude has gotten so much better in just the like last year and change that I'm really excited to see how this set plays out. Right. Obviously, I'm always happy to watch Senior Children, and there's always going to be some highlight worthy shit. I don't know if y'all noticed, but Senior Children was in most of the highlights from that last trailer, either as the player, as the focus, or as the victim, because good shit, wild shit is always happening when Senior Children is in the match, and that's fucking great. But like with Denim, when I'm looking for clips of Denim, what I'm finding are these like small moments of just like brilliant like nuance or like small plays that just look super cool. And so I'm super stoked for this match. Thank you, Ralman, for relinking.
This is gonna be an interesting one. I expect to see a lot of RKOs.
Oh yeah, I hope so. I hope we find out what happens when two RKOs collide. For round start, round one. Let's see that shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, actually, I don't think I knew that Biken had the RKO as a move until I saw these two playing. That is how fully they explore the Biken tool set. That's what's up. So next up, we got a Sin Mirror between One Bin and Ghost Deer. I'll be honest, I don't know shit about the Sin Mirror, but for similar reasons, I knew I wanted to see One Bin and Ghost Deer scrap. The two have also been pretty consistent players over the last year and change. One Bin, of course, has been alternating between Chip and Sin and learning some other side characters. I've only seen Ghost Deer playing Sin, but I've played against both of them, and both of them have, you know, the thing that Sin can do, right? Which is just that, like, that one touch from anywhere on the screen, just like sometimes you're gonna blow the fuck up, right? So I expect this to be a pretty volatile uh, mirror match. But I honestly don't know how much it goes, or even I don't know that much about whether these two have played each other that much. How well do you know One Bin and Ghost Deer?
Yeah, so one band, also a good homie of mine, also met at ESA, so played for a little bit, played some Under Night together also. I think so Ghostier is definitely the more seasoned player of the two, I think.
Mm-hmm.
One been kind of a newer adapter to Exert, so we're pretty happy when one bid kind of got on the train with the rest of us. And I think the thing is, so I think kind of the advantage in the Sin Mirror is whoever gets like the hit and the knockdown can kind of snowball. But Sins kind of, from what I can tell, go for two options, right? They can either be like one bid and they eat, like, which I think is like Kizzy K school of thought,
Mm-hmm.
which is you're eating for the next mix up.
Yeah.
But then there's like kind of, I guess you would call the more traditional Sin, which is what Ghost Air kind of leans towards, where you get the knockdown and then you start pushing your pressure,
Mm-hmm.
and then you kind of have to find another spot later down the line to eat. So that's gonna be the key, right? Is the calorie tug of war is kind of its own like issue, right?
Yeah.
Because as a sim player, you know the number one thing you have to be sure of is you're gonna be able to eat, right? Because if you're not gonna be, if you don't eat, you're gonna put yourself in a situation where you might as well be dead, right? And I think that's one of the things that I rarely see Ghost Deer run into situations where he eats like incorrectly. Like he might do something where he like tries to like eat YRC, kind of like Old Sin,
Mm-hmm.
but usually I think he does a pretty good job of like eating at really opportune times. One bit for sure, like he gets the combo down, he does like the eat like immediately,
Yeah.
right? Just to like make sure he's good. But I think Woodman's also been a little bit more cavalier with the raw eats, and that gets him killed a lot. So he's gonna have to be careful with that.
And I
And
mean, like, getting away, trying to get away with raw eats against someone like a Biken, for example, or even Jam or something like that, I could see
right,
getting away with that. But against another Sin, like, Sin is always in press button to hit you range, right? Like,
yeah,
his specials are fast. Or they're fast relative to the screen space they cover. So like,
yeah,
you trying to get caught, you know, just trying to steal and eat somewhere, you are going to get swatted.
right, exactly. Like elk goes a lot farther than you think it does raw, because I think like one vid is really good at just doing the specials like just raw, like in moments where they kind of catch you off guard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of the things that I think becomes frustrating, because it's like, yeah, you get hit by raw elk hunt, you're just kind of like you're about to eat a ton of damage,
Yep.
and then like you try to burst in situations where he eats, and it's just burst safe because he ate instead of like pushing his advantage like most sins do. So that's one thing that I think it'll be curious to see, but I don't think either player has played the Sin Mirror too much
Yeah.
necessarily, because you know there weren't a lot of Sins in NorCal for a long while,
Yeah.
and
I'm
it'll be interesting for sure. But I think this one will just look goofy, but I think like for the most part it'll be kind of like neutral heavy, like we expect, right? But there'll be like a ton of damage.
You
Sin
saying
will,
Sin has no mix? Is that what I'm hearing?
no, I'm not. I would never say such a thing. That's Keyskate propaganda. You don't ever let them tell
So
you that.
the two things in particular that I'm looking forward to in this matchup. One, Sin players kind of get to let DP rip whenever, right?
Yeah,
And so in this matchup, they are both going to be able to do that, and they're both going to probably have to, like, I'm expecting at least one moment where a wake up DP clashes with a meaty DP, and we get a fucking danger time, and then maybe we
yeah,
mash out some more DPs or something. I don't even know. The second thing is, if you don't play as Sin, it's much easier to lose track of calories, because it's another thing that you need
yeah,
to keep track of. And if you don't know how much his specials cost, then it's
yeah,
hard to know, oh, at this state he has enough resources to do this, this, and this, and so this is the combo that I should burst. Or this one, his damage potential is not going to be that great, or whatever.
Exactly.
But I would expect Sin players to know this pretty well, which means that
Right.
I'm hoping we'll get to see some super smart resource play. We're either going to see that, or we're just going to see a bunch of dumbass motherfuckers pressing buttons. Either way, I'm here for it.
Yeah, you're either gonna see like an intelligent, smart gorilla, like Gorilla Grodd, or you're just gonna see an old-fashioned throwdown.
Mm-hmm.
These are the only two options. There is no in between. It's a gorilla
One
fight.
been out here saying sin mirrors are honorable and we will let each other eat. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, if that's true,
The first thing you just see is round start, backdash, backdash.
eat. This is all right.
All right. And last up, we have our first Caliburst Championship.
Yeah.
And what does that mean?
This is a big one.
Yeah. Well, for starters, I just want to explain for folks who aren't well versed in combat sports and the way championships work. When we first started running these show matches, I always knew that at one point we were going to want to build up to to a high point, right? Because in general, I've been trying to make matches so that the people who win kind of in their show matches go on to play against stronger players. And so you get this like building narrative, right? Pepsi needs no introduction, right? No. His first show match was in October, because he was out of town, working for most of the time while we've been running these online events. His first show match was October. He prepared for Angry Black. Angry Black had to bail, and so with an hour's notice, he played me and just ripped me to shreds. 3-0, super free, right? Yep. But okay, that's Potemkin versus Chip. How does he do against someone with a little bit like, I'd say at least a less volatile matchup, someone who's also played against him a lot with some adequate time to prepare? Well, next month, Pepsi went and played against Cam and 3-0'd Cam, right? Mm-hmm. And that's Jacko.
With the soul.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, right? Because Pepsi's multi-talented like that.
It was 2-0 in the tournament, Cam with the Jacko, I want to say. Or it was 1-0 maybe. But it was, it looked pretty convincing in the tournament. But that's the thing about Pepsi, right? Is he plays not only the matchup, he plays the person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's really exciting about this one. But we'll get to that when we get to his opponent. Yeah.
So we got Pepsi, and then we got Daemendo, right? And I have not bothered trying to put show matches together for Daemendo, because all of us know that he's the strongest player here.
Yeah.
Right.
No question.
Without question. Whenever he enters Wednesday Night Fights, he wins it. Unless he's playing Chip, in which case he'll get like fourth or something, which is still pretty fucking good. Right.
That's pretty good for Chip, his side character. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever he enters, I think he's won almost every, if not every, United Wednesday Night Fights as well. So he's not just beating all of us up.
I think he lost one to Ultra Toast, but that's still like Ultra Toast is a beast.
Yeah. And like I've actually asked Peter before, like, hey, so when I'm playing you, like how much work, what percentage of work do you have to put in to beat me as easily as you do? And he was like, oh, I'm just kind of doing whatever I want. Like I personally am not able to get Daemendo to the point where he has to like think about what I'm doing and adapt. He's just playing whatever he wants to do, and it's working out. He's fucking murdering fools, right? So we have an incredibly dominant, like if he's not officially the Caliburst champion yet, he's still NorCal's strongest, right? In the trailer, we called him the hardest hitting player in all of North America because he is, right? You see that Slayer swatting fools the way he swats fools. It's fucking painful as shit, right? And I was thinking, like, there's no way that we have a credible championship that doesn't include Daemendo, right?
Yeah.
But there's also, it's very hard to find a challenger, right? Mm-hmm. Like, at best, maybe if Bears came out of retirement, we'd get to see that. But I think Peter was winning those more often than not. GC Yoshi also, like, maybe we could get him out here. But and GC Yoshi's been doing great in Wednesday Night Fights, don't get me wrong. But he hasn't been that active in Guilty Gear. And so we weren't about to just give him, like, a championship shot straight up. right?
Mhm.
But Pepsi is, I think, I was super excited to make this match because Pepsi has played a lot of long sets with Daemendo. Actually, you can
Yes.
see some of the
Yes.
casuals in the Play Guilty Gear intro that we run. And Pepsi has done really well against Daemendo in tournament. I don't know if he's ever won. He might have won at one point, like a 1-2 or something. But out of all of us who live in the tier below Peter, basically below Peter, Bears, and GC Yoshi, Pepsi is the most likely out of all of us to take games and even threaten to win a set against Daemendo.
Yeah. I think there's that tier of like Pepsi and Angry Black where we're like, if anyone's gonna be the one that stops Peter at a dogfight, it's gonna be
Yeah.
these guys. If Jason doesn't show up, but like,
Has Angry Black ever actually done that? I don't know if I've seen him beat
so
Daemon.
he hasn't. So he got like, I think the last time I saw him really run it, it was 3-2 grand
Oh
finals,
my
or
god.
it was like a reset, and
Mm-hmm.
like this is kind of like if you've never played Peter, you don't get this, but like there's just something about how he knows what you're gonna do before you know what you're gonna do.
Yep.
Like you'll represent things that you've literally never done, and he's already ready for it.
Yep.
And we talked to like Angry Black afterwards. It was like we were like, wow, you were really doing really well. And he's like, yeah, like I just kind of stopped thinking like I was the one up there and just kind of started looking at it from like a third person perspective, like as if he was commentating and stuff.
Okay.
Because like Peter is just like he just breaks your soul like when you fight him, because you're just like, wow, like none of my options, like why does Slayer have an answer for literally everything? And the answer isn't that, it's that he's really good at conditioning you into going down paths you don't want to go down,
Mm-hmm.
and then he just blows you up for it. And that's kind of, I think, the thing that really makes Pepsi like so able to combat Peter, besides the fact that like Slayer kind of loses that matchup, it's that he's really good at focusing in on one person.
Yep.
Like that's kind of like sometimes he'll lose like tournament stuff because he was too busy kind of focusing on, I got to beat CT, I got to beat
Yep.
Peter, I got to beat like GC Yoshi, right? But in this situation, all of that's out the window, right? This is a first to five. You know who your one opponent is. That's why I think Pepsi does well against Peter in casual matches, because he's only focused on beating Peter.
Yeah.
And
And Pepsi doesn't forget this shit. Like every
yeah,
single match that they've played, I'm sure Pepsi remembers all kinds of stuff that came out of that, right? And
uh-huh.
it's not like anyone in Northern California knows that you enter a bracket, if Peter's in there, at some point you're going to like you can't just think about how do I get to Daemendo. You have to think, how do I beat this fucker, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that anyone has actually put in as much mental effort on that as Pepsi has. So not only is the character matchup strong, like you mentioned, right? Like Slayer and Potemkin is actually pretty good for Potemkin, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
But in a long set, like I don't know if I've ever seen Peter lose 5 games in my life, right? But I can't think of a better opportunity, especially considering, like where we're at, right? Like I can't be pulling
Right.
in some fucking killers from Japan to play for this shit. Like this is NorCal, baby, right? When it comes to
Right.
NorCal, I can't think of anyone who is like most likely to do some serious fucking damage, and B, most likely to put on a good ass show than Pepsi. So I'm super
Yeah.
stoked for this one.
Yeah, and Pepsi called his shot, right? Like
Yeah.
after every single one of these, like it's kind of the same with like One Bid and Ghost Tier. Like One Bid wanted Ghost Tier after his show match, and
Mm-hmm.
like we knew this is like there's always kind of that moment like when you see somebody win, we as the TOs, we know there's narratives building,
Yeah.
right? Because we see these things week in and week out, and like even before I was a TO, we all knew,
Mm-hmm.
Peter is the guy, and Pepsi is that guy who just like skyrockets. Like the first time he went on leave and like came back, we're just like, dude, what the fuck is this? Like things were looking okay, and then like you might get a round or two or a game, and then all of a sudden he just felt untouchable at points, and he's like, oh, I haven't played this game in like months, and it's just like, bro, like
Y'all don't even realize, if you weren't at Anime Ascension this year. So on the first day of Anime Ascension, they ran 2v2 Rev 2, right?
Yeah.
A Waseda style. And I hit up Pepsi. I was like, yo, if you're planning on going, like I could use a teammate, because I was going to partner up with Rudo. But then he bailed, I think actually because of like early COVID scare, basically.
Yeah.
And so, but Pepsi rolled up, and I was like, yo, let's team up. This dude shows up. I think he had to like drive like a couple hours from the base he was stationed at. He didn't have a stick, so he had to go buy one real quick. He was like 30 minutes late. I had to register his ass and like make sure his shit was paid in time just so he could enter. Rolls up, and then the first thing he does is just instantly start pop bustering fools. And dude did not stop grinding matches. Like like this dude
to the very last hour. They were closing up. He was playing Josuke in a first to like whatever for iced tea they found at the setup. I'm not making this up. This is 100% happened. And he won, by the way.
So that's what's up. We got Denim versus Senior Children. We got One Bin versus Ghost Deer. And for our first championship title match, we got Pepsi versus Daemendo. I'm super psyched. And it's not just that, right? So at 1 p.m., we're still going to be running beginners and intermediates. I'll have the Smash GG up tomorrow. I'll send the link out. Y'all sign up. You register. Y'all know how it goes, right? And then at 3 p.m. or around 3 p.m., whenever beginner and intermediates is done, so probably usually around somewhere between 2:30 and 3:30, we're going to run the show matches. And then after that, the homie Yuzu is going to be running a plus R bracket open to all of the U.S., but you know, we expect it. I think it'll be a nice way to cool down from the high points of Rev 2. I'm looking forward to entering that tournament actually, and she'll be streaming it on I forget what their pronouns are, but they'll be streaming it on their Twitch channel, so we'll get to chill out, decompress, and enter a tournament. I'm fucking hype as shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is gonna be a great. This is it, right? This is the last Caliburst of the year.
Yeah.
It's
last Caliburst of 2020, baby. We doing it big. And
we're doing it big.
As a closing note before I let you go, I want everyone in chat to know, like, look, we put these matches together in part to just, you know, keep up the hype and keep some like really kind of encourage some of the narratives that we see forming in our tournaments and stuff like that. But we also do this because it's a good motivational factor to get people to play more, right? And so what I would highly suggest is, if you want to step up and challenge someone to a show match, all you got to do is let us know. I stream 4 days a week, right? And then 5 with Caliburst or whatever. I'm always in the Discord. Y'all know where to find me. You got a match you think is deserving of a 1st to 3 on stream? Just tell me, and we're going to run that shit. All right, Shablums, you got to come back to NorCal first, and then you can get this work. Or we can run it in plus R, whatever you want.
Or you can run it in plus R, yeah.